Welcome, everyone. This is Brian Hall at Service Year Alliance. Thank you for joining us for How to Leverage the Virtual Companion webinar, and then other benefits of inviting and enrolling your core members on serviceyear.org. Today is all about the new feature that we have rolled out in the last month, the Virtual Companion, and also about how you can invite and enroll your core members on our platform to get not only the Virtual Companion, but other benefits. So I want to introduce our panelists today. I'm going to start with myself. My name is Brian Hall. I'm the Director of Organizational Learning at Service Year Alliance, and I help with all the webinars and resources that we create here at the organization for the field. I'm going to pass things off to then Jonas Kane to introduce himself.
Thanks, Brian. This is Jonas. I'm an advisor on the serviceyear.org team. I'm an AmeriCorps alum of City Year Philadelphia and teach at America Baltimore. And in my work at Service Year Alliance, I get to help lead our efforts in program engagement, resource creation, support, consultations, and also do work with our efforts in the core member awareness and recruitment space. And I'll let Callie introduce herself.
Great, thanks, Jonas. So, hi everyone, my name is Callie Moore, and I'm the Career and Education Pathways Manager here at Service Year Alliance. So my role here is to think about what supports we can get directly to core members and alums as they are serving or transition to next steps early in their career or to education opportunities. So the Virtual Companion is something I've been working really hard on with our team here today, as well as other people at Service Year Alliance, and I'm really excited to be sharing with you what we have.
So before Callie gets going here, I just wanted to say if along the way, if you have questions or comments, please put them into the chat or the Q&A box, as this will be kind of a shorter presentation and there's a demo at the end. So we want to hear any questions or comments that you have along the way. If you do use the chat box, make sure that it goes to the host and to presenters so that we can all see them and make sure that we're answering your questions along the way. Thank you. Back to Callie.
Awesome, thanks. So here today is our agenda, so you all know what we're going to be talking about. So I'll kick it off with sharing again more about the Virtual Companion, what it is and why we made it, along with some sample content. I'll also be sharing some additional benefits your core members will get once you do invite and enroll them. And then finally, Jonas will be going through a full demonstration on how you can go invite and enroll your core members. So what is the Virtual Companion? So the Service Year Virtual Companion is all Service Year core members that are enrolled will be receiving bi-weekly email messages with tailored content that'll best support them for where they are in their service journey. So they'll have different content at the start of their service journey that'll help them, get into the service, at the middle when they're maybe dealing with some challenges or kind of working through some of the things they've been working on in service, and then finally at the end when they're transitioning. So this is a sample of what the Virtual Companion will look like. So again, it's an email message. It's going to have this very short bite-sized content, as you can see. Every Virtual Companion message will have just sort of one theme, one action item, and usually linked to one resource that your core members will use. All of the Virtual Companion messages will have this header that you see here so that your core members will know when something's coming from the Virtual Companion versus other emails from Service Year Alliance. So why did we decide to make the Virtual Companion? So we at Service Year Alliance really do value input from the field and from service staff as well as core members. And we heard that, it can be a challenge throughout the whole year to make sure that everyone's getting the right resources and support when they need them, especially not just about service, but on topics that are a little bit outside of service, but still related, such as self-care and stress management, extra professional development, and of course, searching for next opportunities after the service year ends. So we know that program staff have a lot on their plate every year with everything they're trying to manage, from running the programs, compliance, working for their nonprofits. And so we were hearing people ask for additional support to make sure that core members have the resources they need. We also were hearing from core members that sometimes they know what they should be doing, but that getting some reminders and some helpful content at times when it would be most useful would be really helpful. So we were really excited to make this virtual companion so that members would be getting this bite-sized content all year. So the messages that we have in the virtual companion really are supposed to be a baseline of resources. We think they're foundational. They should apply to most members, no matter what age or stage they're coming into service at, or no matter what the program is. So we're really excited to provide this baseline, but this shouldn't interfere with any other resources your programs can make. So we know that programs are going to be best positioned to share information about your specific program, about your specific location, things that might be different for your state, your city, or the sort of focus area you're working on. And so we're happy that the virtual companion can be that foundation that shouldn't interfere with all of those other resources you may provide. And then that'll also help to make sure you can focus on some of the specifics and not have to worry that those foundation won't be covered because we've got it for you. So how is it actually going to work? So we've divided the service year into quarters. So when you enroll your core members, and we'll be going over this later, you get to put in the start date and the end date of your service year member. So it doesn't matter whether or not it's a full year, if it's 10 months, if it's 9 months. From that start and end date, we are able in our system to divide their service year up by quarters. And then from that, they'll be entered into the quarter that they are in for that time. So for example, if you have a 10-month service year, every quarter is about 10 weeks. If you have an 8-month service year, every quarter is about 8.5 weeks or so. And so again, this makes sure your members are getting the right content for the quarter that they're in. Every message will come about biweekly. And so if your quarters are longer, your core members might be getting 7 messages over biweekly quarter. If your quarter is a little shorter, they'll be getting maybe less messages. But again, this is really helping provide that baseline for you. So here's a little visual. I hope you like my map, kind of like my treasure map of the virtual companion. So you can see here all the X's are kind of the different trigger points for the quarters. So there's the first day of service, the last day of service, and a mid-year point, and your members will get notifications at all of those. And then you can see from the first day of service to the second quarter, that quarter theme is starting off strong. So those are what the messages are, is making sure you start service on the right foot. That second quarter is sharpening skills. So it's, they're already got their feet under them. They're digging in and making sure they're really making the most of their service year. That third quarter is starting to think about what are they going to do for that transition, prepping for that job hunt or career or next steps, even if those next steps are another year of service. And then that fourth quarter is going to be making sure that they're wrapping up well and launching into next steps. We did get a question about if this is for members that have been recruited through the service year exchange. That's a great question. So for members that have been recruited through the service year exchange, there's one way to do enrollment to make sure they get this, but we do have an additional path for members that were recruited off platform on how you can get your core members enrolled. And so this is going to be a service that anyone can take advantage of, no matter if they were recruited on platform or off platform. So that's a great question, and we'll be diving in a lot more later on how to make sure that no matter how your core member is recruited, they'll have access to this service. Great. So what are the resources we're using for the virtual companion? So you may have seen over this last year, we've been really excited to launch our 3 resources. So they are Surviving Your Service Year, Thrive During Your Service Year, and Transition After Your Service Year. So each of these resource guides have their own resources within them. You can see kind of tiny on this slide, but about 6 or so resources per guide that are all with that theme. So example in Surviving, what's helpful to get started on that right foot is budgeting, it's relocating, it's commuting, it's eating on a stipend. In the Thrive, we have self-care, we have goal setting, and in Transition, we have resume writing and networking. And so these are guides we've been releasing throughout the year. But again, if you give your core member all of these guides right at the beginning of the year, it could feel pretty overwhelming. And so what the virtual companion does is takes each of these little guides that we have and gets it to your core member at the right time. So, for example, I'm not going to go through every single message we have part of the virtual companion, but wanted to share a little sample to get you excited about it and understand. So first of all, and what I haven't mentioned yet today, is that there is a pre-service, not quite a quarter, but pre-service time as well, so that even if you're enrolling your members before their actual start date, they're going to start getting these messages ahead of time to help them prep for service. So for example, they'll get something, if maybe they're relocating, they'll get that relocating guide from us. In the first quarter, they'll get that first welcome to your service year message on the start date that's inputted, and then they'll be getting other things that are helpful in that first quarter. So some information about budgeting, some information about goal setting, and each, again, of these virtual companion messages will have one theme, one message, and one of these smaller resources. So we hope that ends up being really manageable and that all the core members can see that the virtual companion is quick, easy to read, and a helpful reminder. For the second quarter, it's really focusing on skills and making sure that they have what they need to succeed. So a stress management guide will be sent, as well as some tips for ongoing learning. In that third quarter, it's really starting to transition. So we have our translating your skills and some resume tips as well. And then finally, that last quarter, it's really making sure that they're wrapping up their service year and that they're helping the program so that once they leave, everything is set up right. So these are just some high-level examples of the messages we'll be sending. And after the webinar, we'll make sure that everybody gets a copy of our 2-pager, What is the Virtual Companion overview, which goes through these examples as well. Finally, the last message that your members will get as part of the virtual companion is letting them, thanking them for their service, for everything they've done this year, and welcoming them to the alumni community. So that would end the virtual companion for their service year, and then they'll continue to get messages from us as alums. So besides the virtual companion, there's a lot of other benefits your members can get by being enrolled. So we're excited that enrollment will get everyone access to virtual companion, but it'll also get these additional things. So beyond virtual companion, we'll be sending out other content. So you can think of the virtual companion as more evergreen, kind of tied again to the specific point of their service year, versus our other communications will be tied more to the calendar year or special events. So every month we have a monthly core member and an alum newsletter that has interesting news, a digest of events and things that core members and alums may be interested in. And then every so often we also send out additional emails with specific events. So for example, we're running our virtual career fairs and higher ed fairs this fall. So those emails are outside of the virtual companion because they're calendar specific. Sometimes we'll have new initiatives like Service Plus Tech, which I'll go through a little more later if you haven't heard about it. And those are things that will be outside of the virtual companion that core members can get invited to. Other opportunities, right now we're reviewing applications for the Segal AmeriCorps Alums Award. So sometimes there will be these additional opportunities that core members or alums can apply to. So they'll get those messages. Every now and then we'll have discounts and benefits. Some of these are reminded in the virtual companion, but for new or additional ones, they may get emails, and then other announcements like Serve America Together and how that can get involved. So again, like enrollment will get everyone on these email lists and newsletter lists so that they'll get all this information. But the virtual companion really is just those supports that are all throughout the service year that'll help them serve better and live their life better while they're serving. These additional emails are for both alums and core members and make sure they have other invites to our awesome opportunities. So once a member is enrolled and accepts that invitation to be enrolled, they get access to this dashboard. So if your member came through serviceyear.org, they would have had a certain dashboard while they were searching for opportunities. Once their enrollment is done, they'll have this option, which is their serving dashboard. So no matter what your service year member is doing, they can always log into their dashboard to see some of these resources and opportunities again. So like I said, those resources that we have, Survive, Thrive, and Transition, are available on the Resource Hub, which your member can get through their dashboard here. but those are what we're sending out in the virtual companion as well. And we really hope that sending it in different ways is going to make sure your members get it when they really need it. The dashboard has different opportunities at different times. So it's really great to be able to come back whenever they want and access this. And then finally, we do have additional opportunities your member can sign up for through the dashboard. For example, in the bottom corner, you can see Service Year Plus Tech is a group, and that's something that your member can, once enrolled, click into. Another benefit of enrollment is that your member that is enrolled profile will be linked to your organizational profile on Service Year Exchange. So this is a great way for anyone who's trying to see your program to see who all the members are that are serving. It's a great thing also for recruitment that if someone's coming through and thinking about service, they'll be able to see, oh, wow, look at all these current core members who are serving through this organization. Also, if your members are public profiles and they're posting on their Journey posts, members or anyone will be able to get through that from your organizational dashboard or organizational profile. So it's a really great way where ServiceYear.org is trying to show the whole community of programs and core members that are connected to really kind of paint the picture of what service could be like. And finally, again, just wanted to mention Service Plus Tech. So this is a great opportunity that your members can add from their dashboard once enrolled. So they'll click join on that little group card, which will get them connected. And this is an additional resource of podcast resources and special information that's just about Service Plus Tech. So we know tech is booming. It's something that a lot of core members are interested in, both as careers and an option to make service better. And so this is an opportunity we want to make sure everybody knows is available to currently serving core members as well as alums, and they can access it through their dashboard. So next, I'm going to turn this over to Jonas, who is going to talk through how do you actually invite your members to your ServiceYear.org profile so that they can be enrolled to get access to all these things on their dashboard, Service Plus Tech, as well as be enrolled to get the virtual companion.
Thanks, Kelly. Yeah, so the big thing we also wanted to spend some time on for the last part of this webinar was just making sure we can show you clearly how you can actually get all of your members connected to this. So I know we already had a question earlier in the webinar about who's eligible to participate in the virtual companion. And the big thing that we're looking to push here is that this is a free offering that is accessible to all of your core members. So whether you recruited them through ServiceYear.org or through other channels, this is something you can make sure that all of your members get signed up for. For those that you did not recruit through ServiceYear.org, one of the things we'll take a look at in just a moment is how you can create a custom link, which you'll be able to send out an email to your members. And when they use that link to sign up, it's going to be giving them a custom sign-up path where instead of the traditional sign-up where they would land on a page for someone who's looking for service year opportunities, they'll be able to see really clearly that they were invited by your organization and came in that way. And as soon as they've completed that step on your end, you'll be able to enroll them into your organization in the exact same way as anyone that you would have recruited through ServiceYear.org as well. And the one quick thing that I'll just take a moment to potentially clarify, we use the term enrollment on ServiceYear.org really just to speak to a connection that you're making between the member and your organization, which is something that's flagged on their public profile, as well as to be able to trigger the types of communications that we're talking about through the virtual companion and elsewhere. But it really just is a light level process that we're looking at. So we really don't want it to come across as anything more burdensome in terms of compliance or anything of that nature. But at this point, I think what we can go ahead and do is we'll actually pull up the website and take a look at the steps that you can take to enroll your members. So
and Jonas,
give us just
Jonas, this is Brian. I just wanted to recognize that some questions have come through, and once Jonas is done with the demo, we have a question and answer part, so we will be answering those questions.
Awesome, thanks, Brian. So if you give us just 1 second, we're going to modify the controls so that we can set up a share screen to be able to show a demo of the site. All right, so at this point, you should be seeing a version of the ServiceYard dashboard that I've brought up through our testing website, which basically just allows us to mirror all of that same information that you'd be seeing in your organization dashboard to be able to show off different functionality that we have. So if you go into your organization dashboard, the main place that we're going to be looking at to complete extending an invitation to all of your members to sign up and become enrolled is through the listings section of your dashboard. And this is where you'll be able to use an existing listing that you have to be able to create that link and to enroll all of your members. Now, if you're going back to this section of your dashboard and you don't yet see anything, that's where you can also use this Add a Listing button in order to create a listing for enrollment purposes. Other thing that I'll just call out initially is that if you have not set up listings previously, or if you're still getting your organization set up to begin with, we have some great content in the ServiceYard Help Center, which is linked to from the footer of the website. If you follow that link, that's going to take you to the section of our platform where we feature a bunch of different how-to guides, best practices, and other things that you can reference both while you're getting set up, as well as while you're using the platform to make sure that you're maximizing your usage. For those of you just getting set up, the Completing Your Initial Setup has an article that I'd recommend checking out just to help you get through all of the nuts and bolts of getting your info added. If you have already taken the steps of having created a listing previously, though, that's where you'll be able to go into that existing listing, just click directly on that name, which will take you to a summary page. And this is going to take you to a spot where you can create that link. Before doing that, the other thing that you'll also see on this page is that if you are currently recruiting members through serviceyard.org, you'll also see a complete list of all of the candidates who have previously applied to that listing. And you're going to be able to enroll them as well, either alongside people that you extend an invitation to or individually. In terms of folks that you're looking to get into your funnel that you did not recruit through the platform, that's where you're going to be able to use this button, Invite Candidates to Enroll, which when you click that, that's going to give you access to a custom link that you can copy to your clipboard. And basically, all you're going to need to do is to email that link out to any of your members that you're looking to get to sign up. And when they follow that link, that's going to give them that custom sign-up path that they can take. In terms of how to email this to your members, it's somewhat up to you in terms of how you best want to present this as an opportunity. But one of the other things I'll highlight in our Help Center as well is that we have an entire section on core member enrollment and management. And one of the articles that we have in there is Invite Your ServiceYard core members to join serviceyard.org. If you scroll to the bottom of that article, you'll see a template that we've created, which gives you an example of something that you could send out to your members. Basically, within that template, that's something where you can take that link that you just copied, insert that into the template we provided, also fill in the blanks on organization name. That's something we've also crafted in a way that if you wanted to use this through a mail merge or other email system, you could look at that as a way to send this out to your members as well. But basically, when you send this out to one of your members, they'll receive this. They'll be able to follow the link you provided. When they follow that link, that is, let me make sure I bring up the right thing. That is going to take them to this page where they'll see the organization they were invited by, which in this case is my test organization that I had set up. And they'll be able to click this Confirm Your Service Here button. All they're going to have to fill out in order to get into your funnel is their first and last name. I'll just use Virtual Companion as my test for that, and an email and create a password. Once they've clicked that, It's going to allow them to create an account where they'll be able to fill out some basic info about themselves to populate their profile, and they'll get access to the dashboard. But before they even fill out any of that info, you're also going to get a notification right away when they've taken that step. And if we go back to the dashboard that we had been looking at previously, which had these 3 people before, and refresh that, you're now going to see that there's another person in there who just created that account. So alongside all of those other people I had, I'm now going to have an option to either bulk enroll all of these people at one time, or to enroll these folks individually. If you are looking to do a bulk enrollment of multiple people at once, you can click this checkbox at the top, which is going to select everyone. You can also deselect people if you're just looking to enroll a subset. But when I click that button at the top, that'll show me every single person that I'm enrolling at that time, as well as just the basic information that'll also be pre-populated for a location, as well as a start and end date. So if you need to make any modifications to that, you can do that before you click submit. And again, if you are just looking to do this for one person at a time, that's where you can click on an individual candidate's card to complete that action as well. Other quick thing I'll call out is that if you are looking to just do this quickly for everyone that you've extended an invitation link to, we also do have a filter. And if I select that down to just people who came through that link and apply that, I'll be able to just quickly see those people if I'm looking to only enroll them, because possibly I still have people in my funnel that are going through the interview process and that we haven't made a final decision on yet. But that's really the basics of what you'll be doing to connect your members. Once you've actually hit submit, that's where the individuals will actually get connected to your organization, and they'll start receiving the virtual companion and all of those different messages that Callie talked about previously. So I'm going to go ahead and pause there with our demo, and we're going to go ahead into a final wrap-up, and we'll take some final questions at the end of the webinar as well.
Great, thank you, Jonas. And again, as we kind of transfer over and share the presentation back, we know that there's been several questions coming in, and we will answer those, but really wanted to just finish off with a few things. The first is, the virtual companion, if you take 4 things away from today's webinar, the first one is the virtual companion is a resource to support your core members all year round. And as Jonas just went through, you merely either need to invite people you did not secure through serviceyear.org, or the people that you did find through serviceyear.org are already going to be on platform, but you can invite them or just simply enroll them through the platform to get that. In doing those actions, once they are enrolled, there's also other benefits that Callie talked about, which can include core member profiles on their service, virtual fairs, newsletters, Service Plus Tech, and so forth. The third thing is just once they're enrolled, we're really excited about Service Plus Tech, but in the future we might have Service Plus something else. It could be healthcare, it could be a multitude of things, and we're hoping that we can have more of these offerings as we move forward. But right now it's Service Plus Tech, and we have podcasts and webinars and so many great things, and connecting members across the world. There's people who are doing Peace Corps, AmeriCorps on there that they can really connect and really talk about the tech field. And the fourth thing just to take away is, we will have this webinar up on our resource hub, and we'll email out a recording to everybody on this webinar, and you can always go back to it. But if at any time you have any questions past this webinar, please reach out to us at Service Year Alliance. We're always available to field those questions. And with that, I'm going to go to the Q&A, and we're going to start taking some of those questions. I think the first one, there's a couple questions, Jonas, around, you know, is this for programs that are on serviceyear.org? Is this part of the, you know, we have some premium features and access on serviceyear.org. Is this just for premium access organizations? Is this for people who don't have premium? So maybe asking those questions, answering questions around who has access to this resource.
Yeah, happy to take that one. So this is a fully free resource, both for the core members that can receive the messages, resources, and tips, as well as a free resource for all Service Year programs to be able to take advantage of as well. So if you currently have premium access and are recruiting on serviceyear.org, this is something where, again, you'll be able to enroll people that you've recruited through the platform, as well as an extended invitation to people that you recruited through other channels. If you're currently an organization that's not yet signed up, or if you do have an account but it's on our basic access level, this is still something that you can take full advantage of as well. The main difference, if you're an organization on basic access, is really simply that if you go in to set up a listing with us, or if you're going to edit one that you had previously created, you're just going to see significantly less fields that you have to create, because basically we only ask you within the listing to fill out the fields that are necessary for enrollment purposes, which are basically making sure that you have a point of contact, that you have the start and end dates for when members will be there, and that you have a location where they'll be serving. But otherwise, the process that we just looked at for inviting members of your core to sign up and become enrolled, that actually looks exactly the same, whether or not you're an organization who has premium access or basic access.
Great, Jonas. We also had some questions, Callie, I'm hoping you can field this one, just around the GEICO benefits and what that is and how core members and alums can get that.
Yeah, that was a great question. So again, of some of those benefits of listings that I had shared. So the GEICO one's pretty easy. If that's an insurance that core members and alums are interested in getting, they just have to call the insurance agent and say that they're an AmeriCorps alum, and that because of that, they've been told they get a discount. So we have a great GEICO partnership. They're very aware of it. So it should be as easy as that. It's possible they might need to show their service letter to prove that. But mostly my understanding is they just have to say they're part of AmeriCorps or an AmeriCorps alum. There was one other question in terms of our, again, the success of the career and education fairs. So we are excited to be having those again this fall. We've gotten really good feedback from both those that host booths as well as the core members and alums that attend that they are really easy. It's virtual. They can attend from anywhere for as long as they want or as little as they want. In terms of people taking, accepting offers for schools after or accepting careers after, we're not really sure on that data, honestly. We do send up follow-up surveys, but unfortunately don't always know if people are getting jobs or taking advantage of grad school or higher ed after that. But we're at least finding that while the events are happening, they're getting their questions answered, they're excited about the opportunities available. And this, again, is a free service for all core members alums, and so we would love you to encourage them to join.
And anecdotally, this is Brian. I have heard of somebody getting a job interview through meeting somebody on the job board who's like, maybe not for this one, but here is another job that you might be good for. So I think it's networking and getting out there and employers and the higher ed institutions themselves are happy with the career fairs as well. So it's really a great way. Jonas, there's several of these. If you could really talk through the invite your core members who they didn't find through platform. We've had multiple people kind of message in with questions about Is it as simple as, you know, creating that link, sending it out to core members, and then they're enrolled? Can you just talk through maybe a little bit about that piece of inviting through that link again?
Yeah, so basically the way that that actually works is when you send out that link, you're prompting them to be able to create an account through a special sign-up path. And when they sign up through that path, you're going to get a notification back on your end when they've actually created their account. So them creating the account isn't going to be what officially enrolls them in your organization. That's where you do have to go back to that listing summary page after you've received that notification and actually go in and hit that enroll button, either for them individually, or if you're doing this for multiple core members at once, that's where I would recommend using that bulk enroll button to be able to take that action for multiple people at the same time. At least with the way that we have this function working currently, though, after you've sent that link out, you will need to go back in and take that final step of enrolling them once they've actually signed up and created their account.
Great, thank you, Jonas. We had a question from a commission staff who is on the line, wondering if each of their programs needs to do this individually, or could they create as a commission staff a profile and attach the core members and alums that way? So could you talk about like how that could work for commission programs and for the commission as well, or a commission?
Yeah, that's also an excellent question. So currently, this is functionality that works on the host organization level. So in the case of a commission interested in doing this for their programs, this would be something that you could push out as a resource and opportunity for each of your programs to take individually. They would all need to be creating their own accounts, setting them up if they haven't done that previously, and doing this on an individual basis. One of the things that I will highlight, though, is that along with us having host organization accounts, we also have network accounts on serviceyard.org, which are basically ways to be able to connect groups of host organizations together, which one of the most common examples we have for network pages right now is for state service commissions. And if you have one of the network pages on our sites, that's something that can tie together all of the organization profiles that have been created. If those organizations are actively recruiting, it will also show their listings. But another tab that we feature on those pages is also one for core members and alums. So while a network itself can't be the one to enroll members currently, it is a really great spot if you're looking to be able to highlight and show all of the different people who are either currently serving or when they're exited from their service are alums of those programs as well. So I'm not sure where that question came from, but if that is something that you're interested in talking more about, happy to chat more about that one offline as well. Great.
And the last kind of grouping of question was just, is this a trial and pilot from Service Year Alliance, and later will be a premium resource, and kind of what are our thinkings on that? And I'm going to kind of kick that one off and then punt it and have it then Jonas and Callie both weigh in. But when it comes to core member and alum resources, and especially these basic resources, we always see those as free resources out, because we really want, just like everybody in the national service field, for core members and alums to feel like they're set up for success. So this basic kind of virtual companion and these, helping a core member through their service, we really see as a free offering for all core members, and then these opportunities for alums. In the future, what we could think about doing, and we've talked about after we see how well the virtual companion goes this year, our programs liking our core members, alums, we really want to make sure that these are things that are useful. It could be something in the future that we're able to customize maybe for programs or for commissions or certain locations, and things that we might be open to in the future once we see how this goes and how it is being taken up by programs and by core members and alums. Would you have anything to share on that, Jonas?
No, I mean, I think that is a really good answer. The only small thing I'll add is just, I know that I've previously gotten questions from some people about accounts for core members and alums, and if that's something that they have to pay for, which just along similar lines to what Brian was just saying, those are not accounts that we charge for in any capacity. So that's also not something that we're looking to introduce in the future either.
Great. Are there any other questions out there? And if we did, I hopefully synthesized a lot of these questions into the same things. Were there anything that was missed out there? Please put into the chat or the Q&A. But hopefully we really got to all your questions about the virtual companion and enrolling your core members, either the ones that came through serviceyear.org or through other means that you can all get them connected to this profile and into these resources and opportunities.
Brian, I am seeing one other question that it looks like we had come in via the chat, which is asking about if we had multiple members serving at different positions, can we invite them all from the same link, or do we need to send each person an individual link? That's a really good question as well. So the quick answer to that is that if you have different positions that you're looking to get members enrolled into, you would want to use separate links for that. If you end up sending one link to your members just from one of those positions, they would still all be able to get enrolled, but they're only going to be able to get enrolled into that one position. So I will say that's something that we might put some thought into in the future, with being able to more easily switch someone from one position to another for purposes such as completing an enrollment. But at this point, at least, if you are looking to really get them into those different spots, you would just want to go in and create those 3 different links to be able to send out to the people based on where they're serving. And the one potential point of clarification I'd give on that, if you have just one position but have a couple of different listings for it, such as if you've set them up based on different locations, in that case, you can just use one listing for it, since they would all be connected to that same position. But if you do have any follow-up questions on that as you're looking to complete that, definitely feel free to follow up with us via the chat on serviceyear.org.
Great. Something else I wanted to share that we've gotten questions about in the past is since the virtual companion is really new, we just launched this feature very recently. If you do have core members that already started service earlier in this year, for example, if you had a VISTA or State National member that started in February or March, they can still join, get enrolled, and be enrolled in the virtual companion. Again, what's really great about this is that with those start dates and end dates, we'll know which quarter they're in and already automatically send them the right information. So if they started in February and are serving through next February and they're about halfway through, maybe they're probably in quarter 3 at this point, if you enroll them now, they'll start getting those messages. And so we won't be sending them those early messages. They already started their service year. They'll get enrolled right at the beginning or right at the quarter they're in. So of course we want to catch people right at the beginning of their service year so they can get the full suite of all these resources. But if for whatever reason people are enrolled later in their term, that works too, and they'll just jump right in with the content that's relevant for them.
Great. Are there any other questions out there? As we kind of wrap up today, I wanted to let everybody know that we will send a debrief email that will have the recording of this webinar and also the resources and links that we've been chatting at throughout that you can look at the resources of the Survive Thrive transition. You can see the instructions to invite enroll your core members, and we'll have all of that into an email digest and emailed out to all of you. Before we sign off, any last words, Callie or Jonas, on the virtual companion? This is a labor of love for all of us on the phone. This has been we heard from programs, commissions, a lot of core members, alums over the last couple of years, and we really have been trying to build this out in support for programs and in service to the core members and alums. So we are super excited to launch and have all these offerings. But any kind of last words? I'll start with Callie and then to Jonas.
Sure. Like Brian said, we've been working really hard at developing this content. I'm really excited to finally get it out the door. And so we're happy that this is free, open access for all of you to give your core members. And we really are looking for feedback. We want to know if these resources are helpful. We want to know if the messages are too long or too short, or if they're too frequent or not frequent enough. And so just really excited to get this feedback and keep iterating on this process and make things better than ever.
Great. And you, Jonas?
Yeah, I'll just echo everything that Brian and Callie just said, which is that we're really excited to get to have members who are just starting try this out this year, share feedback, let us know what's helpful, what's not, so we can take that into consideration. And the only other quick thing I'll add is, please, if you are running into you're interested in doing this, feel like you're running into any barriers completing it, let us know how we can help, even if that means like getting on a phone call to talk through how to take any steps, do stuff. Really just let us know, because we'll do anything we can on our end to make this as easy as possible to get your members connected, because we really do hope this will be something that's helpful to them over the course of the next year.
Great. Well, thank you, Jonas and Callie, and thank you all out there. And again, we will email you shortly with all the resources from today. Thank you and have a great day.